Season 54, War number 6. Today we've matched up against Gods of War, and the bands are Corvus, Photon, Titania, Void, and Null. My team today is Silk, Magneto House of X, and a Mega Sentinel. Obviously Magneto's just for pre-fights, but I'm still going to have 9 fights this war with Silk and OS, so pretty crazy that I can get that many fights, and a pre-fight champ on my team in this season, but that's just kind of how it goes with the Silk whitelist. So anyway, we're going to start on Path 6. Actually, we're doing all of Path 6 this war. And we're going to take this Chavez here on Node 6. There's not much to say about these fights because it's basically just a BG's matchup at this point. And then you have Withers that are just going to remove Chavez's own dimensions. She does have a little bit of physical resist from the node, but that doesn't really matter. And then Combat Deja Vu Prowess does not matter either because I'm not getting hit by her special attacks, especially if I have Evade, so there's that. Drop the SP2 here, and then I don't even have the Relic active, but it's obviously going to do enough damage. So just like that, we move on to Dr. Doom on node 15. So I don't really know why Doom is placed on war defense in Decay meta, but I guess they just needed to fill some slots or something. And yeah, Silk is just going to wipe the floor with this guy. We're going to get the slow active from both Silk's kit and Decay to shut off his aura. And then I could also just push him to SP2 and dex it or evade it from there either. So it didn't really matter which way I picked. But I think I'm going to drop the SP2 with the Relic potentially because Doom is a bit more tanky than Chavez is. But once I get the Sunder up, that doesn't matter. We get a crit, another crit, and then a third crit, and even if we got like no crits, that special still kills him, of course. So, alright, we move on to Section 2, still on Path 6, fighting this Bishop here on Node 24. Decay kind of makes this really easy. It's actually pretty easy without Decay, because you just evade his special 2 or dex his special 2, but Decay makes this easier because if you accidentally let him throw an SP1, the incinerates aren't going to matter because of the damage that is prevented by the tactic. So I do get the correct dex on his SP2 there, so I'm going to go for an intercept there, heavy into Relic, light, heavy, SP2, and that's going to be plenty of damage. And there goes Bishop. These path fights are really boring, not much to talk about, but the minis are slightly more interesting, especially once we get to more OSent fights, because Mega Sentinel is a much more interesting character to watch than Silk for this tactic. But we do get an OSent fight here, which technically this could have been a Silk fight, but I just kind of wanted to use OSent because I knew I'd solo this Negasonic with either one. And then fight duration didn't matter in this war. So even though Silk would be like 10 seconds faster or so, it was just like, sure, Negasonic's gonna be great for this fight too. Gonna go for heavy attack there, pause my debuffs, and then we just want to get to an SP2, and then drop it, place some extra plasmas on Negasonic. I'm pretty good at dexing both of Negasonic's special attacks, so I was not worried about that at all. Did a little bit of a block dex there, but we have a bunch of armor rating and energy resist, so that blocked hit did nothing, and yeah, I don't even know why I'm mentioning that, because the fight's over. And now we're going to fight Future Ant-Man on Node 39, because Silk doesn't gain buffs from her kit, and then doesn't benefit from the Dexterity Mastery. She just gets the ability to dash back and evade hits. Even without the Mastery, then there's no way to trigger the node, the power stack node, so it's just a BG's fight, basically. And then we do have the power sting, but the power sting doesn't hurt very bad, especially when this is a 6-star attack rating. So yeah, Fantman's not really doing anything on this node with a Silk whitelist, but I imagine he's not going to do much of anything on any node with the Silk whitelist. I do drop the SP1 here because I knew it was going to get power drained, and I think I'm just going to do double SP1 in this fight. Something like that. He's not gaining a bunch of armors, which is cool. Drop another SP1 here. Then he starts glancing, so that's annoying, and then I somehow get hits, which is also annoying. But I'm just waiting out the armors so that he doesn't get the opportunity to stack a bunch of them. Just kind of slow playing this fight, just to be as safe as possible. and then I'm just going to heavy into the relic, and then he's going to die right there. So now we move on to the next mini island where we're fighting a Weapon X on node 41. I was a bit worried about this fight going into it because of how hard Weapon X can hit when he's in Berserk, and he's going to be unblockable, and then the root's going to be a thing. And then I entered the fight and realized, oh, this is a 6-star Weapon X. So he's not going to last very long. We're just going to kill him a lot faster than I expected to originally, because if this was a rank 3 Weapon X, it would be a bit more difficult. I still probably worried way more than I needed to about this fight, even if it was a 7-star Weapon X. But either way, he drops a special here. I know that I'm rooted now, so I just dex a little bit and then break out of the root with my special 1. Got a light intercept there. And now I want to go pause the debuffs with my 4th light attack. I'm going to let Berserk fall off right there, and then go back to pausing, well, once the root goes away at least, I'll go back to pausing my debuffs. I do need to be careful of bubble shields. My debuffs fell off because the root, so a little annoying, but we're fine. I'm going to cycle back to my heal block mode, and then I'm going to go for an SP2. Yeah, Heath drops his SP2, then my SP2 I'm going to drop here. The plasmas are going to do plenty of damage. He's at 20 charges, but they're just going to take him out. So hit him with the relic, and he dies. And just like that, we move on to Onslaught on node 43. This fight's a little bit more difficult than I expected, because you do not have any evade due to insult to injury with the hazard shift debuffs. But obviously you're not going to take a bunch of damage from them and Onslaught's Neuroshocks and degens because of Decay. But I still do need to keep debuffs active. And sometimes I'm going to get those damage over time effects when I don't have as many debuffs active as I'd like to. So you can see they're still doing a little bit of damage there, but now that I have 3 debuffs every time that they are inflicted, they just don't do anything. I have no debuffs on me now, so the evade would have helped me there, but didn't need it. I'm trying to bait a heavy attack from this guy. He just doesn't want to, so I noticed that he finishes his combo there, and then go for mine, and then I try to do an intercept. He doesn't want to do that either, so I'm like, okay, well, I'm at an SP3 now, so you just die. So all that BS AI stuff, it doesn't matter now, because once Silk drops her SP3, the fight is over. You can see why right here. I was doing this fight with a friend next to me in person who, like, doesn't play, like, high-tier war and stuff, and then I showed him what Silk can do after her SP3, and he was like, oh my gosh. Because he didn't know exactly how stupid Silk's SP3 cycle was. So yeah, that was pretty funny. And then this Mangog fight too, I got him to watch the Silk SP3 cycle for this one, and he was just like, that's crazy. So anyway, I'm gonna heal up Silk real quick, because of course I did still take a little bit of damage from that Onslaught fight. And then my Power Start 1 boost is still active. So yeah, we just need 2 bars of power and then the fight's over. I'm placing Mangog on this node myself because I really don't know what else to put on node 46, but he really doesn't do anything here. He's just kind of there because, like, node 46 is pretty much a nothing node. So yeah, I don't really know what else to say. There's not really a good place to place Mangog on the map, and there's not really a good place to a good defender to put on node 46. So can't really say anything's wrong with the placement, because, like, what else are you gonna put there, you know? So we get an SP3 here, and you know the drill, the fight's over. So that's my last Silk fight. We have one more fight with a Mega Sentinel. I was talking with a buddy of mine when I was planning this war about how happy I get when I see a mutant on node 48 that isn't Onslaught. And I just am like, oh wait, it's OSent time. And that's kind of what happened this war. I was like, hey, there's a mutant that isn't Onslaught that's on 48. I know who I'm taking. Because I'm the only rank 3 Mega Sentinel in our battle group. So considering I think she is the best option for, like, most mutants here. There might be a couple great ones as well, but OSent is just so good for war that she's the first champ I think of. Yeah, I just got her on my team. which worked out nice because I needed a counter to that Weapon X as well. OSent probably isn't the best counter to that Weapon X, but she's going to do the job very effectively, as you saw in that fight. So here, I'm running an invul boost because I know at some point in the fight I'm going to push Domino to her special 3, which is fine because the bleed that she inflicts from it, I'm not going to take damage from, and then the invul boost, I'm just not going to take damage from the hit. So I just need to get to my own SP3, trigger Conflictor, which is going to allow me to have my 6 plasmas to stick, and then they are going to do plenty of damage. Like, I'm not worried about keeping debuffs active for this fight because I'm going for an SP3 where I don't actually need debuffs. I really like OSent's SP3. A lot of characters just have SP3s where it's just like, okay, this is kind of pointless. OSent's like always finds a way to be useful in some areas of the game, which is really cool. This Domino did not want to drop her special attack, so I'm like, well, I'll just push you red, so that works as well. She has a prowess up, but it literally doesn't matter because we're just going to tank the SP3 with an invul boost, and then I'm going to have a bunch of plasmas ticking at the end of it, and that's basically it. We just need to be a little bit careful of Domino's evade because I believe she was lucky. So after the SP3. Oh yeah, that was another funny thing. My friend who was watching me, who again doesn't play high tier war, didn't know what an invul boost does. So I told him, hey, funny thing about an invul boost, you get a free 3-hit tank every fight, and an SP3, no matter what, only counts as 1 hit. So I can just do that. And he was like, oh wow, war is really, really funny, isn't it? Yeah, it is. It is really, really funny. So there we go. That is my war 6. We did win this war, 5 defender kills to 3 defender kills. So we are now 3-3 on the season. Nice to get a win back because we lost 2 in a row. But we do probably need to win out to get Masters this season, unfortunately. But it's not to say it's impossible. 3 deaths is still pretty decent, this tactic. So we just need to hope that our opponents don't reach 3 deaths either. Or we play better than that. I don't know. Either way, yeah, long road ahead of us still, even with only 3 wars left, but we got it. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.